What's going on, geeks? You're listening to episode 286 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Lj.Lowery.
What up?
And Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
This week, we're geeking out about a marvelous MMO. Stuttered there for a second.
Oh my gosh.
Spiderman, again. And Netflix, also again. I promise that this is a completely new episode. You haven't heard this one before.
Time.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's just a couple companies that rule the industry.
Entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's almost as if that's a concept, but whatever.
I mean, even in video games, you think like you had three: Nintendo, Xbox, Sony.
Yeah.
The three major. Like they're the ones making the big games.
Yep.
Basically. I mean, there's people under them, but weird. Yeah. If you're wondering, this podcast is owned by nobody. It's a nonprofit, and you can give to it by going to geeksundergrace.com/give. How about that? Boom.
Nice.
That was a plug.
That was a good plug.
Sticking it to the man. Yeah. Let's get into the games that we've been playing. I haven't done anything besides Apex, so go ahead, LJ.
Okay, so I'm still playing Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm almost done with it, actually. I had a long weekend and ran through a good chunk of it. Pretty lengthy, like, it's a good standard length. I absolutely love it. So, this is one of those games I would want to stream, but it has so much, like, actual music in it that the DMCA would never, like, let... they'd pick it up real quick. So basically, like, my favorite mechanic is, like, whenever you charge this meter, you can huddle the team up. And so they'll say different things. And so based on, like, keywords, you have to choose between which, like, phrase you want to tell them to, like, get them pumped up or encourage them or whatever. And so it'll pick a song from, like, the playlist in the game, like Peter's playlist. So you can get, like... You can get, like, Take On Me, you can get, like, Jitterbug, and all these different, like, songs, and it's so good. Oh, man, like, it just changes the whole vibe of a battle.
That's awesome.
I love...
How is Star-Lord's band? I haven't actually listened to the song yet.
From what I can tell, it sounds like standard, like, metal. Like, so basically he gets his name because he listens to a band called Star-Lord as a kid.
Yeah.
And so it's like an original band that was created specifically for, like, to do the soundtrack for the game. Mm-hmm. And so I haven't listened to, like, they have the album on Spotify and everything too. So
it's a whole album.
Yes.
I thought it was just like a song.
There's a whole album.
Okay. That's cool. Is it like AC/DC metal, like hairband metal, or?
Yes, it's definitely like hair metal, like from that era, from the 80s. Like,
okay.
Totally.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I need to listen to the actual, like, music to just see what it's like. I mean, there's a few songs in there that, like, he's listening to in a couple, like, cutscenes, because, like, there's a lot of flashbacks on what happens between him and his mom and stuff like that. And I really like a different take on the Guardians, like, because most of us are familiar with only the movies, and so right. it's kind of refreshing to play this game and get another take on it, which might be closer to the comics, because there's all this other stuff that's, like, you know, it's not MCU stuff, but, you know, clearly there's, like, a lot of stuff going on there, and relationships between other characters that, like, we just haven't seen yet in Guardians in the movies. There are some big appearances too. So it's exciting. I'm enjoying it. I haven't quite finished it yet, but I think it's going on my list as one of my favorites of the year. So it's a lot of fun.
Cool.
Way better than Avengers.
Very good. I'm glad.
So
yeah.
And it's on sale for like $30 right now, which is good.
Surprising.
So yeah.
I feel like it just came out.
Yeah, they definitely hit the Black Friday time, and it's worth it. The other thing I got real, like, just last night and, like, past couple days, I just got real into it was I've been playing that Halo Infinite multiplayer. I've been posting some clips on Twitter. I got real good with this gun called the Mangler, which is basically like a smaller shotgun, but it's got range, and it's got, like, it shoots like shotgun shells. It's amazing. But I have some clips on my Twitter, and, like, I found my groove on that game. Like, it's exciting to have, like, matches where my KD R is like positive because I can never do that in like a Call of Duty game or anything. It's just people are so sweaty. But I've been enjoying it. I think it ends actually by the time this recording will go up. But they're bringing it back in January. But they have the event where you can get that samurai armor that they advertised, and it's like a free seasonal pass that you don't have to pay any money for. So I was kind of grinding a little bit to at least get the base armor, but then like when it comes back in January, I'll get back to it and unlock the other like shoulder pieces and stuff. And people are not liking the way you progress in the battle pass in that game because you have to complete challenges to get XP. But I think it's fine because it's teaching me to do other things and like use other weapons that I normally wouldn't do. There's like one that's like get this many headshots or kill enemies with this weapon, and I'm like, okay, this is actually having me play the game differently than I normally would and trying new things. Yeah. So I'm okay with it. Then the last thing, I don't really need to talk too much about it since I've talked about it before, is I've started a New Game Plus run through Miles Morales since Spiderman is all the hype right now. I'm doing that on our Twitch channel, and I'm only a few trophies away from the platinum, so hopefully I'll try to get that platinum on stream. And I wanted to play it because it's holidays time, it's Christmas time, and that game is all the vibes when it comes to Christmas. It is a Christmas video game. So
that's cool.
So yeah. Yeah. It's got all the vibes. So yeah.
I think that's the first. I mean, I'm sure there are like very literal Christmas games out there, but
they're definitely
first mainstream game that is like trying to be the Christmas throwback that you go back to every year kind of thing.
Yeah, like a Batman Arkham Origins has, like, it's set in that Christmas Eve time because that's how they explain why everybody's like there's nobody on the streets in Gotham.
Okay.
And then like there's an old Sega Saturn game, Nights into Dreams, which had a separate like Christmas disc you could get from like I think it was like Blockbuster or something.
Yeah.
That's
where
cool.
It was a Christmas Nights, and so actually, if you go and buy that game on like Xbox or PC right now, it actually has Christmas Nights inside it.
That's cool.
Okay.
Which is cool too.
Wii, I think the newer one.
Right. Okay. Yeah, they did one for Wii. Yeah. But yeah, so there's like other, it's not, like there's plenty of Christmas movies, but I guess not enough Christmas video games, or at least like games that have Christmas elements in them. So
right.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pull that out because I need to get that platinum still. So
nice.
Yeah, it's
cool.
exciting to go through that story again, and it's super short, so I think I'll be able to get through it pretty quickly. Yeah, so that's what I've been playing.
What about you, Shelley?
I've been playing too many games / consuming too many games /
That's me every week.
I only bought one game this weekend somehow, just with sales and stuff. So, I'm still playing Fire Emblem Awakening. I probably will stop sometime. It's always a game where I get nostalgia for it, and then I play for a bit, then I kind of get bored or whatever. Not because it's a bad game, but because I played it before, or just get distracted with other stuff, and then I stop. So we'll see when I stop. But I am still playing Metroid Dread as well.
Nice.
That game's cool. It's so strange because it's hard, but I always sort of assumed that when people said it was hard, it was because of the bosses or the enemies, and I feel like I'm not having a problem with them, even though I haven't faced too many, granted, so I could be eating my own words next week or something.
It picks up. It really does. But it's not hard in like a this is difficult kind of way. It's hard in that like there's going to be a lot of patterns you have to memorize when it comes to the bosses.
Right.
And so once you memorize those, it gets a lot easier. So it's challenging. I wouldn't say it's like hard necessarily.
I think the problem is the main takeaway I'm getting is how annoyed I am with the Emmys. Not scared, not, like it's like, I need to go through this Emmy room to get to this other place because I have this new upgrade. Now I know like, this area is where I can go. I can access this place now. Which that's always a super freeing feeling. I always love that in Metroidvania games. Where it's like, you get the new thing. Like, you get the double jump, or like, this game it's like, I got the morph ball, and I'm like, finally I can like go places.
You can do stuff.
I can do things. So, it's very freeing, but it's like, just trying to get through the Emmy areas, like going through the first time is actually can be kind of fun or can be kind of exciting because you're just kind of running around, then you end up in a new area.
Backtracking sucks though.
But trying to get back to other areas has been really frustrating simply because it's like the Emmys change their patterns. And so I'm like, okay, cool. It was over here last time, so I'm going to avoid it, go this other way. And then I go the other way and it's still there. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, do I really just have to keep trying the same way over and over again and hope that it's on a different path this time? So that's unfortunately been sort of my main takeaway so far, which is, I know is not really a good takeaway, but I think the rest of the game is still really cool. Atmosphere wise, it's so cool. And the cutscenes, and I think what's very, like, I had such a clutch, like when you get the, like, Omega Cannon, and so you're able to, like,
oh yeah,
I don't know if is it spoilery I don't know, maybe it is.
Not really. I mean, it becomes something you do like through every, like, that's how you take down the enemies.
When you're able to take down, yeah, and
I would worry more about story beats than items.
That's true.
Yeah, it's more of a mechanic that, like, once you do it the first time, you're gonna have to do it every other time.
But it's like there was one where it was so clutch. It was like right on top of me. Then I blasted its head off, and I was like, yes. So it's like there's still awesome moments like that that feel really good. And yeah, I'm probably just going to just keep getting harder, which is fine. But yeah, that's still a very cool game that I'm playing. And a game that I technically have not played yet, but feel like I played because I've just watched Daniel play so much of it. Brilliant Diamond. So we did buy Brilliant Diamond. Yes. It's so, like, I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, like, it sounds like people have mixed feelings quite a bit.
Because it's like, yes, I was initially excited for Sinnoh remakes, and then you know, people were complaining about, like, the art style, and I'm like, sure, I guess I can understand that. I don't necessarily hate it, but I don't love it either. I think what I didn't realize is they just made a lot of really weird decisions. They, like, held on to some things from the original game and not others, but they, like, chose, like, the wrong things. And a lot of times, like, for some reason, they brought back the weird Wi-Fi rooms when you're trying to connect and trade with other players. And it's just such a weird, stupid, clunky method. And I had to explain to Daniel about how it worked in the original game, because it wasn't a great system. And I had to explain to him because he was trying to trade. And he was able to figure it out, but it was just like, okay, there's these two different rooms, or there's two different areas in the Pokemon Center. One's for local, one's for Wi-Fi, but all three, you have to talk to all three different people for different scenarios, or like, it's so convoluted. I'm like, why would they keep that?
Yeah, because, like, even I've played enough of the Pokemon games to know, like, you can literally just trade from anywhere. Like,
exactly. It's so...
Even on the 3DS.
It's so strange. So then it's like, okay, well, they kept that, and, like, thankfully they got rid of having to have, like, HM slaves, right? You don't need to, like, carry around Pokemon that has, you know, no strength and Rock Smash and, you know, all those things. And I'm like, cool, okay, they got rid of that. But they also brought back TMs and not HMs. So you still can't... Like, they're still all temporary, whereas in the newer games, they're all, like, you can reuse them as many times as you want. And I'm just like, okay. I think, honestly, the most baffling decision to me, and this was really apparent because Daniel was doing a Nuzlocke. And he beat the Nuzlocke, by the way.
Nice.
He beat it with only one death, and technically the death was after he beat Cynthia in a very crazy... It was, like, a crazy clutch scenario where, like... He had Staravia, and Staravia was using Fly against the Garchomp, right? Cynthia's Garchomp is very scary. And then, so he used Fly and hit and killed the Garchomp, and that was her last Pokemon. But that Pokemon has rough skin, and so the recoil damage technically killed Staravia, or Staraptor, with that, which was like, it was a very... you know, climactic, like, thing, but at the same time, it's sort of like, okay, he beat the Nuzlocke, now he can do whatever he wants.
Like a double KO, kind of a...
Yeah, very epic. But either way,
nice.
With that context, he did not get a lot of variety of Pokemon, and he kept complaining about the whole game, saying, like, why am I only ever finding, like, Bidoof, Geodude, like, I'm finding the same 3 to 5 Pokemon in every single area. And I'm like...
That's weird.
Well, that's weird. And then he goes to the underground and he's seeing like Baneri and he's seeing oh my gosh, I forget his name, but the little scorpion Pokemon. I'm like, these Pokemon were introduced in Gen 4, I'm pretty sure. So like why? Actually, I don't know if the little scorpion was, but Baneri was for sure. Baneri was absolutely introduced in Gen 4. I'm like, I remember playing Pearl and like Baneri was a normal freaking you would see it, you know, almost as often as Bidoof in some ways.
Huh.
And also where's like all it was just really strange how it's like, why are they choosing to throw, it feels like they were choosing to throw a lot of Pokemon that are like native to Sinnoh and were introduced in the original Sinnoh games to be restricted to the underground, which feels really, I could be factually wrong on this, that was just our observation for like, he just didn't run to a lot of those Pokemon, like the hippo Pokemon, the cute little ground hippo, like he never ran into that ever. And they're underground, and I'm like, I just don't, you know, they have like, you have the final evolution of Dusclops, right? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that I'm failing with all these Pokemon names. I hope you all know what I'm talking about. I'm usually pretty better with Pokemon names.
I'm sure people do.
But you know where like the third evolution of that line, that the cool, like, I think it's Dusclops evolution, that was introduced in Sinnoh too. It's like you never run into him, and granted, I don't think you're supposed to in the wild, but still, it's like you didn't run any, like, I don't know, it was very strange, because I'm just like, why would they, like, I understand restricting Pokemon from out of Sinnoh to be in the underground. That makes a lot of sense to me, actually. So then it's like you could bring in way more Pokemon that weren't in the original games, because they exist now, right, for one, and you could throw them in the underground. That's a very cool concept, and they did do that with some Pokemon, but then it's like, there's still so many that are from Sinnoh and should be in Sinnoh, but they somehow took them from their natural habitat and threw them underground. It didn't make any sense to me. So that was really frustrating to watch.
I gave up on Pokemon names, by the way, after the ice cream cone thing.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't even know his name. It starts with a V, I'm pretty sure.
I got mad and was like, I'm done paying attention. Yeah. I could probably name Gold and Silver, Red and Blue Pokemon.
Yeah, I was going to say, I stopped after 151.
But
now
anyway,
it's just, that thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I recognize all of them, I just don't always know the names. There's so many now. So, I will play Brilliant Diamond. It was also just crazy because, like, the affection mechanic is just broken. It's completely broken. Like, he was able to win this Nuzlocke, like, almost easily. Kind of easily. Again, he only had one death and it was technically postpartum. Like, technically post-beating Cynthia, if you count it, like, technicalities. And a lot of it was because his Pokemon loved him so much that they would crit all the time, they would dodge attacks all the time, and they would shake off status ailments, and they would clutch out, like, hits that would normally kill them. And I just don't know how I feel about it. Because on one hand, it's, like, just makes the game, like, really easy, I feel. But then on the other hand, he brought up, he was like, oh, well, actually, this is, like, kind of nicer for story reasons, even though there's, like, never any story in, like, most of those games, but it's, like, story, like, most trainers you fight are like, oh, wow, your Pokemon's so strong, probably because their bond with you is so strong. And that was never actually a thing in the original games, but now it's, like, literally a gameplay mechanic, so it's, like, I don't know how to feel about it.
Right.
Anyway, I've talked enough about Brilliant Diamond. I'll play it. You know, he beat it, so that means I'll play it. I just don't know when, because I'm playing so many other games. That, plus, I bought Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition.
Nice.
I bought Devil May Cry because I've been wanting to play it, and it'll be my first Devil May Cry game, but it'll be on the PS5, and that's really cool. And it was on sale. That's why I got it, because I was waiting for it to go on sale, so I got it for $10 off. So I got that, and I also, even though technically this isn't a game itself, it's related to gaming, I bought an external SSD for my PS5, and I'm really excited about it because what I didn't realize is that you can literally play PS4 games off of that external hard drive. You don't need to move it to your internal PS5 SSD, which is great because I was running out of room on my PS5. I only had a couple PS5 games, but they're so big, and I had all this PS4 stuff that I wanted to carry over. But now it's like not nearly as much an issue, and I have a 2 terabyte because it was, it was on sale.
Nice.
And I was like, you know what, these games are just going to get bigger and bigger. Like, they're not going to get smaller, they're just going to get bigger in size, and so I might as well get something that's going to last for a while. And so I'm like pretty happy about it. It was really easy to set up. It was really easy to transfer all my stuff. It was like actually so easy. I thought it was not going to be that easy. So if that's something listeners, if you have a PS5 and you're considering getting some external storage, or you're really frustrated with how much storage is on your PS5 / how, the lack of storage, definitely look into that, because I already am seeing that it's probably worth it. So
yeah, I mean, that's what I did with my PS4 stuff.
Yeah,
I used my external. When I got my PS5, I just plugged my external right in, and it just updated everything. Like,
yeah,
since I hadn't had a
I'll
PlayStation
look at that.
in a while.
I have a SSD, I think, for my PS4.
Yeah, and so what you can do is you can basically save all your PS4 stuff on the external and just have the internal storage for your PS5 stuff.
Yeah, and then even if you have like too many PS5 games, you can offload them to the SSD, and like re-downloading them is way faster.
You can move,
and it doesn't.
Yeah,
have
you can move them.
Yeah, so
And store
that's cool.
Yeah.
I've talked a whole lot, but I really have been playing way too many games. I played a little bit more Super Animal Royale.
You're gonna make up for the ones that I missed.
I guess so. And I didn't watch any movies. I didn't watch any TV. So like, this is my time to be like, here's all the things I did.
There you go.
Yeah. Need to calm down and
I didn't watch movies, but I watched a lot of TV.
I see. Yeah. But anyway, okay, we can move on.
Cool.
No, cool.
We'll get into the gaming news then. LJ, what's going on?
Alrighty, so this first piece of news I find particularly exciting. So the company that has worked on DC Universe Online has a Marvel MMO in development, and so
that sounds cool.
Yeah, so it's I'm excited for it because like DC Universe Online is one of those games I've played off and on for like the last 10 years. I think maybe it's been like a year or two at least since I played it last time, but it's just one of those ones I'm able to return to like whenever I want, and it's fun. I remember I actually paid whenever it was still a paid subscription game back on the PS3. I bought it, and then it gave me the Green Lantern stuff. So the first character I made was a Green Lantern. So nice. I was super stoked. But Dimensional Ink Studio is the studio that's doing this. They do have one big final update for. I don't know if it's final, but it's a next like massive update for DC Universe. And what I didn't know was that apparently the former head of there used to be another really cool superhero MMO out there back in the day called City of Heroes, and I didn't realize that apparently somebody from the development team there is actually head of this studio. So I'm like, oh, well, that makes perfect sense why I enjoyed DC Universe, because City of Heroes was one of those ones that like my brother played, but like even I hopped on there and played a little bit and I made Beautiful Joe one time, the GameCube character, and like I made him like a speedster and everything. But like, and I like DC Universe enough to where it makes me excited for this Marvel MMO, because there was one called, what was it? It was like Marvel Heroes or something, and it was a Diablo clone where everybody just had different skins of characters they would pick, and you'd see like a ton of Hulks running around or a ton of like Wolverines or Cyclopses, and it was kind of silly, but it was like a dungeon crawler thing. But this isn't like, in this one it sounds like you're going to be able to create your own hero or villain within the Marvel universe, just like you can in DC. So
it's a fun concept for sure.
I know, yeah. I've been trying to like stay away from the MMO scene lately, just because I know they're time sinks and some of them have subscriptions. But I'm like, but I'm like, you know what? When this comes out, when it comes out, I'm going to jump on this just because I've had experience with DC Universe, and if it's basically the DC Universe but Marvel, I'm totally down.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
So. Yeah, it's exciting. So yeah, and then the next piece of news is that the voice actor who is supposed to play Wesker in the Resident Evil 4 remake, which is still not even a confirmed thing yet, like there's been leaks and stuff like that. He's leaked some concept art apparently, and it's one of those things where the guy I guess he deleted his Twitter like right away after he did it. So It's another breadcrumb to be like, they are working on another Resident Evil 4 remake, or they're working on a remake for Resident Evil 4. This doesn't surprise me because they had the Resident Evil 4 VR thing come out in the last few months.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I personally don't believe there needs to be one because Resident Evil 4 still holds up really well to this day. But
yeah,
I'm sure it'll be good if it's got a fresh coat of paint and updated mechanics and all the things that Resident Evil 2 and 3 have. I think it'll be good, but I'm just like, I don't know if we need one of those right now.
Cool.
But yeah, more Resident Evil, and I think if they do remake it, it'll be a good time for people to jump into that story anyway. So it's not like a bad thing, but I'm just like, that thing still holds up. And then the third piece of news is nothing too crazy, but it's kind of just like wow, because Smash Ultimate is getting its final update, which is like a balance patch. Yep. So it's just like oh wow, like that's it.
It seems like an end of an era. It seems so soon. Yeah. But the game's been out 4 or 5 years.
It came out in 2018, but it was like December.
It was still fresh out when we went to PAX South.
Okay, so 3 years. That doesn't seem like very long for.
I know.
A game.
Some people...
And fighting games have been like doing updates for a while too. Like Tekken came out years ago, and that game has had like season passes and like Street Fighter's season passes. I mean, I know it's different, I guess, but
plus this being the ultimate version, you would think that they would just keep it. I would think that they would milk it for everything it has, but
no, I don't think Nintendo's like that. Nintendo, I mean, I think about Splatoon and Splatoon 2, like they really don't want to put that much more work into it. They have to. Yeah. They're like, okay, we're gonna do these fun splat fests, and then we're gonna stop, and now the game's done. Yeah. It's like, okay, they really aren't super big on post support. Like, obviously, I mean, honestly, the way Ultimate was able to last as long as it did, just like Smash 4 was able to live as long as it did, because of DLC. And like this one's lasted longer than it could have because the fact that they had 2 rounds of DLC.
They spread them out nicely too.
Right, yeah. So like that was smart, and like they needed to do that. But same thing with Animal Crossing, where they're just like, oh, we're just gonna like Animal Crossing may not be a good example. Because they like finally released a bunch of stuff for it, but it's like also took them forever, and it was most people felt abandoned with Animal Crossing by Nintendo until these really recent updates. So
and we all got back in. We're suckers.
I know. So that's it's a weird thing, but honestly, it's not surprising. It's just funny how some people think this is gonna like break the meta, but really, like most people are also saying like it's probably just gonna be really tiny changes or barely any changes. Honestly, I kind of hope there's barely any changes, if anything. I just don't want more characters that are already broken to get more broken. Like, I don't want Pikachu to get better. If anything, I'd like Isabelle to get better, but I don't really think that's going to happen. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's definitely not going to be anything game-breaking, in my opinion.
Right.
It's going to be stuff... Yes. In my prediction, I should say.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be stuff that the casual player won't even notice.
Exactly, right.
I still remember when they announced it, and they were like, we're never going to have this many characters in a game again. They're like, if we ever make up another Smash Bros., this is it as far as licensing goes. Like, they worked so hard to get everything in this. Yeah.
Hopefully Sakurai can, like, rest now.
I want him to rest, but at the same time, I also want another Kid Icarus game. So I'm okay, get you rested, but then... Please help Kid Icarus. I want him to rest, though. That's way more important.
Well, I mean, that could be a rest as for him, like to do something totally different.
Because for him, it's like, I feel like Smash is very taxing on him because I don't even know necessarily how much he cares. He's just the one that does the job. He's the one who's good at it. It has to be him. Kid Icarus feels way more like a passion project of his than it does Smash.
Even in the announcement trailers, he seemed very over Smash Bros. He was just like, well, I mean, I hope you guys like this because I'm done.
Every one that comes out, he says, now I'm done. No more.
Yeah. It's like Miyazaki making movies.
Yeah, but there's going to be another. And it's like,
oh yeah, we never put that in the notes anywhere. That was a couple of weeks ago.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I think it was a couple weeks ago now.
I guess this is a
I don't know if it's news at this point. Miyazaki's always making one more film.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Every couple years.
It's a meme.
Yeah.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
End of an era.
Yeah. That's the gaming news.
Cool. I wonder if they will care less now about online tournaments and stuff that they were.
Well, here's the
weird
thing. Did you guys hear that they're sponsoring a tournament?
Wow, no, that's cool.
That's actually huge news. It wasn't. I don't even think it was last week. I think it might have been the week before. I didn't bring it up because I don't know. I didn't bring it up. But yeah, that is actually something they're partnering with Panda Global. Well, it's not Panda Global anymore. It's just Panda, which is an esports organization. So it's actually crazy, but we don't really know more details, and we don't know like. Half people are like, oh, it's gonna be items on. It's gonna be like, it's probably gonna be Final Smash on or something. It's like,
that'd be terrible.
You're right, it could be, but they are literally working with an esports organization on it. An esports that loves like Panda has a lot of top players. They have ESAM and they have Mars and they have Wadi, for just to name a couple. They have IBW on the Melee side, so it'll be interesting to see, but I'm pretty sure they even said Ultimate and Melee. Obviously not Project M. They will never support Project M. But that is something, and that blew everybody's mind.
Dust off them GameCubes.
I think also Ludwig announced like today that he's going to be doing a tournament in 2022. Future of Smash is still looking bright, potentially, even with this patch being the last patch.
That's good.
Cool.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we'll get into movies then. Again, didn't watch any movies. Almost saw Ghostbusters Thanksgiving, but ended up not going. So, yeah, LJ, I'll stick with you. Oh, I'm excited about this.
Yeah. So I watched 8-Bit Christmas, and this one kind of like snuck in like a month or two ago. There was a trailer for it, and so it stars Neil Patrick Harris.
Is it streaming anywhere?
He's narrating the story. Huh?
Is it streaming anywhere, or is it theaters?
Oh, it's on HBO Max.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It kind of like, that's why I said it, like snuck in there.
Yeah.
So it's with Neil Patrick Harris, and he's narrating the story. It's very much a modern take on A Christmas Story, which to me, I'm gonna get some angry tweets for this probably, but A Christmas Story feels like so outdated at this point. But but this one feels like it's a nice, like, it jumped up in time a bit. So it's the story about this kid trying to acquire an NES and kind of all the crazy shenanigans that he and his friends go through to play one, to get one, and it's kind of like...
For those who don't know, and I just thought about this, some people might not, an NES was the first Nintendo console.
Oh, wow. That makes me feel old.
I just thought about that. I was like, there might be some listeners that are like, oh, what?
Yeah, so a Nintendo, basically.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, that's the thing, too, is like, it's set in 88, but, and that's still, like, beyond my time, but, like, at least, like, I feel like I can still understand some of that nostalgia because I remember having one as a kid, and
I still have one working on my TV.
Nice.
Can't play Duck Hunt though, because Duck Hunt doesn't work with. You
need a CRT.
Yep, you need the old school TVs.
Yeah. But like it feels so relevant today because people are still trying to get consoles, PS5s and Xboxes, and it very much relates to consumer culture today. And so I think it'll be relevant, and it's basically a story about like him like telling his daughter the story about how he got an NES because his daughter really wants an iPhone for Christmas, because she's having to text her friends on his phone all the time, and it's like a young little girl. She's like 10 years old or so. Yeah. But it's a very nice story. It's got a nostalgic like vibe. Like it's not going to be a classic by any means, but it feels like it very well could. Like it could be. Like it was going to me. Like it feels like this could have came out in the 90s or something, or in like the early 2000s, and it could have been a classic.
Cool.
So yeah, it's all right. Like, it's nothing like great, it's nothing outstanding, but like it's a good watch for the holidays. So I recommend it if you got HBO Max.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
Shelley, did you see any movies?
No.
No. All right. We'll get to the news. A movie that I'm sure that I'll probably be seeing pretty soon.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Shelley.
Yeah. So actually, I'm gonna first talk about the non-Marvel news because we always have more.
The suspense.
News.
Okay.
So we got a trailer for Rumble, which I actually think we have talked about on the show before. I think there was a teaser or at least an announcement as early as
like a year ago.
Yeah. And
okay.
Because I remember we mentioned it. I remember we sort of talked about it. So this is a animated movie that's going to be on Paramount Plus. So
yes,
rip anyone who has more sensible streaming services, because I don't know anyone with Paramount Plus. But whatever. I'm sure people do.
I have a few friends that have it for Yellowstone.
Or Nickelodeon stuff, I think.
Yeah,
Yellowstone's a big show right now.
That is
so true. I just canceled my Paramount Plus week trial last night, and it's like, hey, do you want to come back for a free month? And I'm like, with this movie coming out very soon, I might take them up on that, because this movie looks up this movie looks up my alley.
It does look fun.
So yeah.
So,
dang it, Paramount.
Yeah, basically it's a movie about wrestling monsters, big monsters. It reminds me a lot of that one movie that
Real
was
Steel.
huge. Yeah, Real Steel.
Yeah, Real Steel.
But instead of robots, they're monsters, and so it's a little bit more
I'm bummed because I really want a more mature version of this, and I know it's not going to happen, but I loved the idea behind the Love, Death, and Robots. I think it was the first episode.
Yes.
They've changed the order of the episodes on Netflix, but I believe it was the first one that came out. Yeah, it's super weird.
We went through that dilemma when I was watching some of it.
Yeah, season 1. Me and LJ were talking, and I was like, the third, I had him memorized for some reason.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, that's not what happened in this episode. And I went through and I'm like, oh, these are all different.
Yeah, the Gladiator one was the third or fourth one.
And I specifically remember it being the first. There were a few other ones that were changed too. But it was this... I don't want to give anything away, but basically it was they were controlling kaijus with their mind, and then they were battling them out in a ring. And it was more of a UFC situation than a wrestling situation.
Right.
But it was such a cool concept, and I would have loved to see more of that. I wish that idea would have become a full show. Love, Death, and Robots hasn't had anything spin off yet, but there's a lot of possible spin off ideas in that I think would be really cool. But Rumble kind of is that same idea, but for kids.
Yeah. They're just, I don't know, it looks like a kind of fun, it kind of just looks like a fun movie. I don't know, it doesn't look like anything crazy. It just kind of looks like a simple concept that could be very heartwarming and family friendly, and it doesn't make me sick to my stomach like Sing does. So,
he does dance. I thought that was... He's gonna love dancing.
I love dancing, but that's such a... I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
It's
different.
liked
it. I thought the trailer was
it seems fun.
I thought this was a better trailer than the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. What a transition. So apparently No Way Home.
Nice. That was a quick all right, let's go.
I was trying to be quiet. I was dying on the other side of the microphone.
I don't
that
know
was hilarious.
That was amazing. I was just gonna say how No Way Home tickets are for sale, but they crashed not only the AMC site but Fandango as well. And
that's
just
insane.
Crazy to me. It's crazy. It's I guess I don't know. It's just crazy to me to think about how why is this movie specifically gaining so much hype? Everyone's so excited to see. I mean, it could just be timing with COVID. I know so many people were still very hesitant to go to theaters, especially even when Black Widow was out. They're like, oh, I don't really want to go to theaters for that, which is fine. I mean, that's valid. But it's just crazy to me. I feel I don't know. I feel Dune should have gotten that treatment, not No Way Home. It feels wrong to me. But I don't know.
I wonder too, are the sales really that high? Like, are they beating like in-game or Infinity War, or were the websites just not ready for the traffic?
Yeah,
if so, then why not?
I do have a friend who, I have a coworker who wanted to get, Thursday night tickets, and he said that when he went to the site, or I don't even know if it was one of these sites, but when he was getting his tickets, the theater was like full, and he was like, "Oh," and I'm just like, "Yeah, that's really weird. It's been literally over a year. It's been a long time since I've seen that." Because I don't even think that was. Maybe some theaters. But for Dune, was it that popular? I don't even think that. No. I think people were still like not really going to theaters for that. And granted,
I think more people went to see King Kong versus Godzilla than they went to see Dune, to be honest.
Yeah. And
there were bigger movies, I think.
I will say Dune.
Dune will be a slow burn. I think it'll do really well in the long run.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm sure it'll get that treatment for the second part of Dune when maybe COVID is less prevalent. I don't know. It's just like, I just feel like I'm missing something. I feel like people are really, 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 really excited for these movies. And because they're like, and I ask and they're just like, "Oh, I'm just a huge Spider-Man fan." I'm like, well, Spider-Man's like my favorite superhero. So why am I not... And I was talking to LJ about it earlier. He said, "Well, you know why? It's nostalgia. It's the thing you hate." And I'm like, "Oh, you're right."
Yeah,
it's absolutely.
Literally, like when there's leaks and rumors about the other Spider-Man coming, that's when people go, "Oh, I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Let's go."
It's just kind of weird how Into the Spider-Verse is such a good movie. It's like the top tierest movie I can think of. It's like one of the best movies. It's one of my favorite movies.
That the MCU bit that off so quickly.
Exactly. That's
not that they're biting it off, but still, like, yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't think it's the play, but it could be a great movie. And honestly, I hope it is. I hope it's really good. That's all I want, is for it to be an actual good movie. You've heard me ramble about this enough times on this podcast. But I think just with that bit of news, I'm just a little confused and frustrated that Disney really has this chokehold on the entertainment industry. I think that's another part of it where I'm just kind of like, gosh dang it, like they can really just do whatever and they're just gonna have people eating out of their hands. At least when it comes to nostalgia, because like Black Widow, I know did not do it that well, but it also was not nostalgic at all. It was kind of, they were trying to do a new story, they were trying to do a new thing. Same with Eternals, they did something totally fresh, totally new, and it definitely didn't hit all the marks that they were going for. But I still liked it, and I think a lot of other people did too. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, that was kind of weird," but it was like kind of good. It was like not great, but it was fine. So
I think with that, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy did really well, but it was hilarious. And for whatever reason, the audience seems to like, if it's something new, then it's got to be funny. You think like Ant-Man 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's got to have, it's either nostalgic or funny, and you got to pick one.
And this is going to be nostalgic and funny.
Yeah, probably.
So...
yeah.
They need to just, viewers need to break that habit, but it's hard to control an entire society's likes and dislikes. Where people are going to make where the money goes. I think that was Eternal's biggest thing, is the humorous beats weren't nearly, like, it wasn't a full-on comedy like Guardians. And I liked it, but I think it probably would have done better if it had been a full-blown comedy, which would have been kind of annoying because we've seen that before.
I never really thought it needed to be a comedy.
I think just for people to like it. Like, everyone to have come and got it.
There was definitely an era of Marvel where they went heavy on comedy.
Yeah, like Ant-Man and Guardians were like very new to people.
I don't know. I get annoyed when everyone absolutely all the time needs like some sort of quippy line. Like I hate that. I hate it a lot. So
and Spider-Man is the OG quipster. Like, he's
but he is the quipster. We don't need everyone to have quips. We don't need everyone.
Exactly. Yeah, it's Spider-Man's thing.
That's part of his thing.
It was a good movie, but we didn't need Thor to be the funny guy as well.
Devil's advocate of that theory is Suicide Squad, the first one. They tried kind of making that a Guardians of the Galaxy-esque thing, and it failed pretty miserably. But I know it was also something that it was not. Yeah, it wasn't like supposed to be some comedy Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff.
Yeah,
it was like
they wanted that vibe, and then they got it later with James Gunn. But
yeah, you want a James Gunn movie? Get James Gunn.
Yeah.
Anyways, kind of a tangent, but
yeah. So
That makes sense.
That also segues into our final news, also Spider-Man related. So, we actually got confirmation from Sony, one of the Sony directors, by the way. So pretty up there.
Producer.
Confirming that they're... What?
Producer.
Yes, producer, sorry. Not director. Will be confirming 3 more Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, specifically MCU movies. So that actually is really good to know, because there was obviously a lot of like confusion of like, oh, is he gonna go back to Sony? Like, what's this licensing gonna look like? Like,
even Tom Holland thought he was done.
Yeah. He was very like unsure.
The subtitle of the article is like, somebody tell Tom Holland.
Yeah, he just put out a statement, I think last week, 2 weeks ago, that he didn't want to play Spider-Man past his 30s.
Yep.
And past 30, and then he thought maybe he was done because of like he doesn't have a contract or anything.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's like,
I just bet that Feige was not okay with that statement, because they're very specific about when they announce things.
Oh yeah, and that's why they've been playing with our minds with all these trailers too. It's like everything Marvel does is very deliberate, and I feel like that overstepped something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's weird to be like, oh yeah, so No Way Home is going to be it's going to be like a trilogy kind of in itself, right? Probably.
Right.
But the fact that they're confirming 3 more movies is like kind of absurd to me. I'm just like, wow, really? Like 3 more movies? Yeah. And no one else really gets this treatment. Like, no one else is gonna get
6 movies.
6 movies, unless you consider like, every Avengers movie is also like an Iron Man movie or a Captain America movie. But even then, I don't even think the math lines up for that. And yeah, like Spider-Man's a super popular character. I guess they must be really, really, really confident in in how No Way Home is going to go for people, and to be able to lead into not 1, not 2, but 3 more Tom Holland MCU movies. And it's not necessarily
hopefully we get
like
a Miles Morales.
Yeah, and honestly, it could be cool to see Miles Morales. I think one thing I want to see in No Way Home that doesn't involve like weird nostalgia or like seeing Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire popping up out of nowhere. Honestly, if I were to see any other alternate Spider-Man in there, I would want to see Yuri Lowenthal Spider-Man for PS4, but that's not going to happen.
Oh.
So, that's the only one where I'd pop off. The only one.
That'd be great. That'd be so cool.
But, what I was going to say is, like, I want to see, like, and we've already kind of seen it in, like, the first Spider-Man MCU movie, like, he was still very fresh, and he's still kind of figuring stuff out. Like, not necessarily learning his powers, but, like, we didn't get to see him really utilize Spider-Sense ability until the second movie. And so what I think would be super cool in No Way Home is to see him really, like, become that Spider-Man that he's,
honed
really
in
powerful.
On his abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Like you do play in PS4 Spider-Man, for example. And then it'd be really cool in those next 3 movies where he just becomes, just top tier ideal Spider-Man, Peter Parker at his best. And then whenever something happens with that, or that's, he's at the climax or he's done, then you can move on to Miles Morales and he could be like a mentor at some point. Like, I think that cool. That would be my ideal sort of like
the Rocky Creed kind of a thing.
Yeah. Obviously I don't know if that's going to happen. Probably won't, but
who knows?
That's something where it's like, at least I can see content and character development from Tom Holland's MCU Spider-Man, because 1, they're setting him up to be sort of like an Iron Man replacement in the last movie. So there's a lot of character development opportunity there, but 2, it's like, he's still only just figuring out some of his powers, like Spider-Sense, being such a broken ability that he's only just started figuring out. So I guess we'll see how it goes in No Way Home. And we'll see how that might relate to... That's just like... 3 is so many.
Mm-hmm.
That's like so
It's not the first time she's done something like that, though. I remember there was some, like... I think they were sitting next to each other.
Quick about something else.
And it was about...
Okay.
him being part of, like, the Venomverse.
Right, I do remember that.
Before Venom 1, I think. And Feige was like, no...
Yeah, who knows? Maybe Disney will be like, they might release a statement or something. That'd be funny.
I hope that they're not like, because she said that, no more.
Yeah.
I doubt that'll happen, but
That would be funny.
They'll go where the
There's
money
a couple
goes.
things that make me excited for future movies, but I won't talk about that here because that gets into spoiler territory from other things. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I could see the potential for more, but it's also kind of like, oh, they should have just done this earlier. But yeah, I think they
should have done this way later, and like Shelley was talking about, gone through that character development.
This feels
seen
too
Spider-Man
soon
be
now.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But
we still have no idea what No Way Home is actually going to do, I think.
No,
Yeah.
I agree.
So, but that's like in a couple weeks here. That's coming up quick.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's our movie news. So sorry again that it's so Spider-Man heavy, and I don't mean to always be like a salty person when it comes to Spider-Man. I do really like Spider-Man, and I hope it does well. I'm just confused. That's all. So
I even dropped Spider-Man in gaming. So
yeah,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Marvel is taking over. Disney is
one of the things that we used to do is we'd rag on Nintendo really bad, but it was because we loved Nintendo and wanted the best for Nintendo. And I'm pretty sure back then it was like the Wii U era, so we were just, there was a lot to rag on.
Yeah.
We were just like, please do better.
Yeah.
We want what's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll get into the TV then. I watched a lot of TV.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm gonna go through, and then we'll meet at Hawkeye, LJ. When I'm
Oh
done.
yeah.
Tiger King. I don't have much more to say to that. I finished it, so that's why I'm bringing it up again. If you liked season 1, then watch season 2. If you don't care, then there's no reason to watch season 2. It's really not that much more new information. It was like 5 episodes, so it was shorter than I thought it would be. And I definitely want more because I am kind of invested in this. And I was like, that's it. But if you don't really care about the Tiger King case, or what's his name, Joe Exotic's case, then there's not. Or
Tiger King.
Yeah. Or I can't remember his name, Don something. Carol Baskin's husband. That disappearance, they kind of dove into that a lot. And that got way more interesting. There's a lot of new information out there about that.
Wait, so is that her? No, that's her. That's her husband that was still alive, right?
No, Don is the one who was possibly murdered, could be in Costa Rica.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the name of her current living.
Given the information, I find it very unlikely that he's in Costa Rica. And I don't want to give anything away. Go check it out. I'm less in the belief that Carol Baskin murdered him. That just seems kind of ridiculous the more that I'm learning, but I definitely don't think he's alive. He was a shady dude. And I think Carol knew that something was going to happen to him. But that's just from a documentary that's very biased and is trying to sensationalize.
Right.
So I haven't done much more investigation than that. Documentary is really interesting to me.
Cool.
Yeah. The other thing that I watched that I cannot rave enough about is, I watched something else too I gotta put in here, is Arcane.
Yeah.
Everyone is talking about Arcane.
I'm so glad you watched it, because I was like, Cody would like this.
I'm in love with it. It's
so good.
Absolutely amazing. The writing is wonderful. The one thing that I hate that they did, and maybe they probably had a purpose behind it because it got me so hooked. I tell everyone, you have to watch 3 episodes. I was like, you might not be hooked in the first couple episodes. They're good episodes.
Well, yeah.
But that 3rd episode is what will
that's what's gonna bring you to the next. So
fully invested.
They released 3 at a time.
Yes.
And so, I think I watched a couple of them later, or I watched that first batch later, and then so I was like, oh, I need to watch this now. And then the second act came out, and then I was like, I can't wait a week. Yeah. I gotta watch it now.
I'm really glad that I waited for it all to come out to watch it, because the 3rd episode, obviously, there's some cliffhangers, or we wouldn't be talking about the way it is. It just, having to wait a week for that, I'm so glad I didn't have to do that.
The waiting part was we get everything right away now, but it was also ooh, Netflix doesn't do this anymore, you know?
So the art style, I loved the art style. I loved the animation quality. I understand people saying that it was like next level. I still think that IGN was talking about when it compared it to Into the Spider-Verse, that it was probably just saying it is as revolutionary in its storytelling
it's unique for sure. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I don't think they were like comparing the art styles in any way. They're pretty different. Yeah. I would compare it to like really. It's not cell shading. It's just like really. It kind of looks like DreamWorks to me.
Like very comic booky, but also like I don't know. It just feels like it should have been a movie to me. Like it was that high quality.
Yeah, yeah. It felt like you were watching a movie. I felt like I was watching a DreamWorks movie that was just really, really long and so good. Game of Thrones writing, like Game of Thrones quality writing, minus the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones. I mean, like the good Game of Thrones writing. Which is also really cool. Because no, I don't want to say any more than that. It was just the writing was really, really well done. And I can't wait for a second season.
Has this got you to install Wild Rift on your phone yet?
No, maybe I should. I guess probably.
It totally got me. Like I play maybe 1 match a day.
I would like to know. Like, I don't play any League of Legends, and so I didn't know any of these characters. So
yeah,
I was like,
I didn't either.
And I was gonna say, I don't for those, need to, which is what's really nice.
Yeah, for those who have played the game, though, that's got to be really satisfying to watch the show.
To see certain champions pop up.
Yeah, there's a lot of like characters that I didn't realize. I just went through and looked at the roster just to know what was going on.
Oh yeah.
And there's like you don't know certain characters or like who they are until later. So that's really cool. But yeah, I had no knowledge of League of Legends whatsoever, except that it's a MOBA. That would be my only knowledge.
But it's like
I maybe played once or twice with Muse.
I've never touched it.
Maybe a while back, but that was all I've ever like known about League of Legends.
I recommended this show to my mom, and my mom doesn't watch anything animated.
Wow.
Okay.
So
I mean, I can see that. There's some stuff where I do tell my parents like, hey, like this maybe seem kind of weird, but the story's really good.
Worth it.
And that's what I really love about Arcane more than anything is the story.
Yeah.
I feel like, and again, I haven't seen it, or at least not yet, but it sounds like it checks like so many boxes for what the ideal media to be produced from like video game is, because like we talked about this stuff before, how like there's so many failures of video game movies, but it's like here's something that is a MOBA with a lot of I don't know if controversy is the right word, just a lot of feelings. A lot of people just hate League of Legends, and a lot of people love League of Legends. It's actually pretty funny. Like I don't know how many tweets I've seen with people saying like, please watch Arcane, please never play League, like you'll hate it, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, MOBAs don't really have story. But here they're like, they have these cool like character designs, and they have a very like interesting world that they created simply for the gameplay aspects. But then they're like, well, we have something here. We already have a world. We already have characters. Like, let's make something out of this. And the fact that it's beautiful animation, original story, and something that, the fact that people are like considering playing League or playing like, Riot Games in general is like very, very awesome. It's very impressive. I do have some questions for you guys though, since I've heard nonstop praise about Arcane, but I have no idea what it's about. And I feel like no one has said any sort of premise, and I feel like for me to at least even get a little bit interested, I need at least a premise. I can't just like go into a show blind. I don't want to give
too much away. I would say that it is about...
Maybe the setting is worth explaining.
It's about 2 alley rats in a steampunk era world.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's got very much like a BioShock...
With like magic as like a resource, kind of.
Yeah. So like it's in a fantasy world, obviously, with magic and wizards and things.
And the rest of the world hasn't even been explored.
But it's a steampunk
in this show.
Yeah, I know that's crazy too. There's a whole world out there.
I really want to play that RPG that just came out that Jamie's streaming right now, Ruined King.
Oh,
but they're past the medieval side.
Yeah, but it's like there's other regions of this world that have not been explored. Like, I hope that they maybe do other stuff that like shows more of the world, because this is like the center of the world almost. It's a big city and all the problems that come with that and stuff like that.
It's very political. Yeah.
Yeah. Political intrigue and betrayal and, all that kind of
I hope
stuff.
that gives you enough without sharing too much.
Right.
Well, that's something. I had nothing before. I just see characters and people are like, oh, these characters. And I'm like...
Also, it's the only Netflix intro I don't skip because it's got a cool intro song.
Yeah, Imagine Dragons did the intro.
Oh, okay, but
And
that's
the
the problem.
soundtrack-
That's what I've heard is everyone's like, it's like Whiplash. Because so many people
Are they the new Nickelback or something? Do people hate Imagine Dragons now?
It's...
I've heard that before.
For me, I feel like it's the new Coldplay, in which... they're not actually... It's not like they're not talented, and a lot of people like them. It's just, it almost feels so basic and so popular that it kind of becomes a meme in some ways. Like
Nickelback.
I feel like Nickelback's a little bit more extreme, but it's... I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like... that's at least my opinion on Imagine Dragons. I used to really like it. I like their first album. Their first album's actually slaps. But after that, I was kind of like, oh...
I'll give it that. A lot of their stuff does sound very similar, but I like it.
I mean,
So
you hear it and you know exactly who they are. Like when you hear
Oh,
the intro.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just...
But I mean, the whole soundtrack in that show is really good too, though. Not just like the one song.
Yeah.
They got a pretty good soundtrack.
Anyway, but thank you. That, and also, how long are each episode generally? Or
An hour.
Do they
About
You got 9
already-
episodes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. There is one that was like 38, 37 minutes. It felt very short. But
That's good to know. Because again, it's like, these are... I hear nothing like... Because I feel like even with Squid Game, I at least was like, oh, I know what the show is about. And so it can interest me enough to watch. But I feel like Arcane, people have said oh, it's so amazing, but there's like no context other than, oh, it's like off of League of Legends, and I'm just like, I want something. So at least that's giving me something. So
Yeah.
I would recommend not watching the trailer as well.
Yeah, just go right in.
Alright.
I
I may
watched
or
the
may not
trailer
watch.
after watching a few of the episodes because I was showing it to someone else that I was trying to get hooked, and I showed it to them, but it felt very spoilery. The trailer did. So I would go in cold, especially for those first 3 episodes.
I would love a fighting game franchise to have something this good. Like, because that's basically like MOBAs. MOBAs don't have stories; they just have backstories, and that's kind of like what fighting games do. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
the best things we had are like the Mortal Kombat movie from back in the day, and then there was this really good Street Fighter 2 like anime movie from back in the day too.
Oh yeah.
Like, but that was kind of it. Like, I really want. Like,
They haven't done that well.
Game.
They had like that live action Tekken or the live action Street Fighter.
Oh gosh, the Tekken movie's bad, but I don't know why I still have it.
Yeah.
I still like it. But yes, like I want something of that of Arcane's caliber for a fighting game franchise.
Because it totally makes sense. It's like, why remake or make a movie or a show off of something that already has a really great story, and just remaking the story? Like, why would you do that when you can rather... there's way more success to be found in games where it's like, oh, there's not a lot of story, or there's not a lot of plot, but there's iconic characters, or there's like this interesting world that they create. I think fighting games is a perfect example. Like, I would love to watch like a Guilty Gear show. That'd be so cool.
The story mode in that game is basically an anime in itself anyway.
I guess that's true, but still, it's like I think
it's
that's a great example, or a great way to.
It's good anime like nonsense. You have no idea what's going on, but it's
I would have never watched the show if it hadn't gotten the reviews that it did.
And nobody ever talked about the Dota one, like the what is it? I forget the like subtitle, but Netflix had a Dota one, and nobody really like.
I honestly got the two confused. I think I was just kind of like
came and went. Yep.
No, it's true.
Anyway.
Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. It is way better than I would have thought that it could be.
Oh yeah.
I
agree.
Yeah. Probably one of my favorite shows of the year.
Nice.
We'll get into Hawkeye then. Which I don't know how you feel about LJ, but after Arcane, I'm like, it's okay. It's cool.
It always gets tough when we talk about Marvel shows because it's like, what can we say and what can't we? I mean, there hasn't really been any like major reveals or anything yet.
Yeah.
But I do like Kate Bishop a lot. She's gonna be a real fun character.
Yeah.
The implications and just the way Hawkeye feels about his hero status is interesting because like it's not that he's like trying to be humble about it. It's just he thinks he doesn't like deserve it. You know, like.
Mm-hmm.
But I really love the dynamic of like him having to live in this world as a hero, which is very much the antithesis of Falcon having to live in that world and still having to overcome, certain things, in his dynamic. So, I mean, we've gotten to see a couple of different ways like that these characters live in a post in-game world and how people treat them. Like, if you think about it, I saw this on Twitter, how rude the banker was to, Falcon and all that stuff, but how Hawkeye got a free dinner, it's wild, like to see the two dynamics of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I really like Kate Bishop. She's going to be a real fun character. I think playing that Avengers game helped because I kind of learned what character, what that character was going to be before watching the show, kind of a thing. Like, it's going to be fun, and they haven't said yet, but I think there's a character in that second episode I think is supposed to be that Echo person.
Yes, it is.
So that's the character we know nothing about, and so far, and so I think there's going to be some cool stuff that's going to come out of. I think it's only 6 episodes though,
which is good. I mean, Feige's mentioned that he wants it to be like a Christmas binge every year,
like a special.
Yeah, that's what I
so
kind of gathered.
It does feel very Christmassy so far.
Yep. Speaking of Christmas stuff earlier.
Yeah. It's cool.
I can't get over the meme. Like, I know nothing about the Hawkeye show. Besides the fact of the trailers, except for the Thanos was right on the sink. I've seen that meme so many times. Yeah. It's so funny. It's so funny. It's like it makes me want to watch the show, kind of, but also not. Like it's so funny, his face and the fact that someone just Thanos was right. Like, oh my gosh, it's such a great meme template. So that's something too.
Yeah, I do this thing with shows. I don't know why I do it. Where there've been rumors that Kingpin's going to be in it, and I probably won't be happy until I see Kingpin. And I've done that since the Transformers movies, when they had G.I. Joe movies, and there were talks about them colliding.
And you're like,
never got my Cobra Kai, or not Cobra Kai. What was it? Cobra Con Alliance.
Cobra Con.
Yeah, Cobra Kai. Never got my Cobra Con Alliance.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can get past that. Echo seems cool, and there's a story beat in the comics about Hawkeye that they revealed really early on in the show, and I was really surprised that we just went there immediately and didn't really they didn't explain it.
I think I know what you're meaning, but yes, that is a cool, crazy dynamic that they added in there.
Yeah, so I think, if I'm right, Echo is probably going to have something to do with that. I think that could be interesting.
Yep.
We always got to watch our words really carefully on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm really hoping we get a Kingpin.
I hope so, too.
When does Spider-Man come out?
17th.
17th? Here's my theory. We're not going to get a Kingpin reveal until Spider-Man comes out, because they're going to do a Daredevil reveal.
Oh my gosh.
And you can't have Kingpin come out in Hawkeye before Spider-Man gets Daredevil, because that would just cheapen the Spider-Man movie.
We don't need it, but I would absolutely love Daredevil to I'm considering rewatching the Daredevil show lately just because of all this.
I'd rather have Daredevil reveal than Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
Yes,
I'm
right there.
Yes. I would rather, for sure.
I'm right there.
I will say, though, watching the show so far, it's grounded enough that Kingpin would make a lot of sense. Daredevil's Kingpin specifically would work.
We could also get Daredevil and She-Hulk, or at least Matt Murdock.
Yeah. I don't ever care with soft reboots of the characters. If you want to throw the other stuff away, keep the characters, and just say that they've lived in this universe the whole time, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't know. We'll see. I would assume that we don't get Kingpin until Spider-Man comes out. Holding to it. It probably isn't going to happen. It's probably Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. all over again for me. But I watched so much Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they said it was connected. And I went back to watch the end of that show, and as soon as I knew that it wasn't good, I was like, I don't like the show. I've watched this the whole time, and I really didn't enjoy it that much.
Once you got to the last episode, you're like, I actually don't like this.
I watched the second to last season all the way through, I think.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm not watching another season of this.
Wow, it took you that long.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I believed. I was like, just gonna come out of that portal in Endgame, and it's gonna be Quake. Never happened. But Daredevil is different. I think there's a lot more rumor about it too. A lot of rumblings.
Yep.
All right. What else did you watch, LJ?
Real quick, I mentioned last week that I was watching Mythic Quest on Apple TV Plus, and I finished both seasons of it, and that show is super good. And I don't know how to feel, because it's like that's one of those season ends where it's like all these characters go so many different ways, and I'm like, how are you gonna follow that up in a season 3? So I'm just like, I have feelings and emotions that like it's a super funny show, but then it got like deep. And I'm like, it tugs on emotions, and like you get so attached to these characters. And I don't know when season 3 of that's supposed to come out. I'll have to look that up. But now I can jump to Ted Lasso, which I'm so excited to watch that because I've heard nothing but good things about Ted Lasso.
Yeah, people are popping off about it. My parents really like Ted Lasso. Like,
nice. Yeah, I have 6 months of Apple TV for free, so I'm gonna milk that for all it's worth in the next 6 months.
Cool.
So. Yeah, that's it.
All right, well, we'll get into the TV news then. Probably the smallest piece of news. This one was kind of grasping for straws, looking for something. But Peacemaker, a clip came out. Apparently at San Diego Comic-Con. Is that happening? Did I read that right?
That was a while back, wasn't it?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. The story said
or New York Comic-Con or something.
I saw something on... Screen Rant about him like making a small appearance on.
So maybe they just put it out. Maybe it was a thing they had at San Diego.
That could be. I was really confused. I was like, there should be way more movie and TV news at San Diego Comic Con's going on. Anyways, there's a Peacemaker clip that has been released. It's just like a small clip of him in the hospital talking to a janitor, and it's very like R-rated. Nothing's uncut in the
It's vulgar.
Yeah, but it's so funny.
It is.
I think that janitor is gonna be my favorite character of the show.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just him, like, talking to that janitor just about leaving. Yeah. He's trying to make friends, and he's just not good at making friends, I guess. So yeah, there's that. And then I still don't know how I feel. Avatar: The Last Airbender is going to start filming in a couple weeks. It is happening. That is a show that will exist, for better or worse. I'm hopeful.
The thing that made me excited to at least give this show a chance is that the dad from Kim's Convenience is playing Uncle Iroh.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, I'll watch anything that dude is in.
I guess, but
we'll see.
I really
think I'll give it a chance. I don't have high expectations, but I'm like, okay.
I like the actor they have for Ong. I'm just kidding.
Stop.
Stop.
No.
If it's Ong, we riot.
Oh, yeah.
Walk away immediately.
I mean, it seems like the cast is pretty solid, but that doesn't mean the show is going to be good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be good. I think the actors are going to try their best, and I won't blame the actors for 1 second. But, oh my gosh, I'm sure the writing will be trash.
I haven't seen good CGI from Netflix yet. So, like, it seems really ambitious to put a show out with the CGI. And then Paramount, like, Plus being a thing, I feel like, I don't know. I'm surprised that it didn't move to Paramount Plus.
Yeah, it feels weird.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. I want more Avatar stuff from the creators.
Which, I mean, they have their own
little universe they're making.
Yeah.
That's when you're probably going to have to subscribe to Paramount Plus.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Everything that they make. Man. Speaking of Dragon Prince, please give me more Dragon Prince. Please. There's no segue there. I just want it.
Please.
It's been so long. I guess I could rewatch the show. It's been long enough now. I've kind of forgotten a lot. The show's so good. Another show that's great is Cobra Kai. There's the segue.
Yeah.
It was a slow burn. Cobra Kai season 5 is going to be wrapping filming soon. If that confuses you, season 4 has not come out yet.
Comes out at the end of the month or at the beginning of the year, I believe.
Yep.
It's like right in that window.
Again.
Yep.
So
I had COVID when I watched it last.
I'm thinking
all in one day.
My prediction with this is that it'll probably come out in 6 to 8 months after season 4 comes out. And that's really cool because Netflix was kind of on a roll with that before COVID. They were really cranking stuff out. Voltron would get like these half season. It was kind of like a mid-season almost, and they would come out every 6 months. And
I remember that. I was so confused.
yeah, it was always coming out. And if they do that with Cobra Kai season 4 and it goes into season 5 and they're, shorter episodes, I don't know if there's a confirmed episode list or not for season 4. That's fine with me. I enjoy getting something every few months rather than binging something and then waiting a whole year for something else. So I'm hoping that this means that not just Cobra Kai, but other things are going to start ramping up production again too.
Yeah.
And we'll start getting the shows that we love more frequently again. Time will tell. We'll see.
Yeah.
I would say Stranger Things is an example, but I think Stranger Things is on its last season, isn't it?
I think it's getting close. I don't think this is its last season, but I think...
Or maybe it's one more after this.
Only
They said it was getting...
Yeah, I was going to...
Yeah, they had a finite number, and they were like, it's happening. So, we'll see.
I think there's maybe this one and maybe one more.
Okay.
I off the top of my head.
Cool. More Dragon Prince, please. More Last Kingdom. More Cobra Kai. We're getting Cobra Kai, so that's fine. You guys got to pass. There was a pun in there for karate, but I don't know what it was, so... Yep. All right.
You kicked it out the window.
Yeah. Yep. Well, the podcast there, guys. Oh, this is not really a geeky thing, but I'm really proud of it. I went to a new gym the last couple of weeks. That's not Planet Fitness to really push because I'm bulking up.
Nice.
And on the board there was nothing for the bench press for the 148 pound bracket, and then the deadlift and the squat were both like obtainable numbers.
Nice.
So today I should have done it sooner because I think I could have done it without any problem. I was actually like waking up on Friday at 149 pounds, so I had to like really watch my meals closely this weekend to make sure that I wasn't over. So I kind of did the lifts on an empty stomach, but I beat both records and then made a record for the bench, which are not my
that's cool because
PRs, but still cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's cool because you're gonna make the next person that's gonna go for those work a little bit harder.
Yeah, I was excited. My name will be on the board by the end of the week, and then I think they stop them every year. They reset them.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But still fun.
Go back and do it again.
We'll see. The next one is 165 pounds. And the numbers on there are much less obtainable.
Okay, so they changed those too. Okay.
Yeah. So I
thought those were like stuff you can get into each year.
Yeah. Well, if I were to, so it's the weight classes. They have different classes throughout. So
right.
I just won't be at 148 pounds. Hopefully in the next 2 months.
Right.
I should be. Yeah. I should be heavier than that, and it would be counterproductive for me to try to cut that weight.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not really geeky, but it's numbers and stuff, and
that's a cool personal achievement, though, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Working out is kind of geeky to me. It feels like leveling up in real life.
Yeah,
it's all about the numbers and the scores.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, I have fun with it. You guys geeking out about anything else this week?
Nope,
I'm not.
All right. Well, we'll end the podcast there. Shelley, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24. You can also find me streaming on twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace Tuesday nights. I'm still playing Persona 4 Golden. I haven't streamed in the last couple weeks just because holidays and things, and I did start a new workout routine. I think what I'm going to try to do is just push the whole stream later by an hour, and we'll see how that goes. Just trying to do the 5 to 7 thing just is not going to work, so I'm going to try to push an hour and kind of see how that goes, but hopefully well. But yeah,
cool. LJ?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at WarHeroLJ and streaming on our Twitch channel. Again, twitch.tv/geeksundergrace on Fridays. Schedule is definitely also looking a little weird for the next month or so, but I'll be streaming some Miles Morales.
Cool. And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Goodbye.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.